Welcome to the ABCs of Home Improvement, sponsored by American Design and Build. Call 845-283-6763. That's 845-283-6763. Here they are, Lee, Mike, and Earl.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the ABCs of Home Improvement. You've got Mike Ash with Laborio Duario, and Earl will be with us shortly. A little detained on the way up, but he'll get here. This afternoon, we're going to be discussing surveying.
That's right. We have today our guest sponsor, Greater Hudson Valley Engineering and Land Surveying Company, owner Tom Vanderbeek. He's unable to make it today, but they are sponsoring our show, and we have a bunch of information we'd like to tell you about his company during the course of our show. Today, the ABCs of Home Improvements are going to take you back a step from the foundation, which we talked about a few weeks back, to the land surveying. Oh, Earl. Earl's here. Earl, we'll give you a moment to get ready, and you'll tell us a little something about what happened to the magic hat. Yeah. We want to know why the magic hat isn't here. You were supposed to bring it, and I guess one of those gentlemen with the blue suits took it away from you. Okay, so today, Earl, while you're getting ready, we're talking about the Greater Hudson Valley Engineering and Land Surveying Company, owner Tom Vanderbeek. He's the engineer, and how that relates to the home improvement projects that we're trying to put together here. And we're going back a step from the foundation to setting up the site work and what type of site work is required prior to the start of your foundation. So, Earl, are you ready? Are you still a little uneasy about what happened? You want to tell us a little something about who you calling? You calling your attorney? Okay. Earl was detained a little bit here on his way up. He had the magic hat with him, which was the Sony Handycam and the Sony answering service, and he had to donate those to a better cause because you got pulled over for what, Earl? What happened?
I would say flying at a low altitude at excessive speed.
Oh, they caught you, huh? Before you hit the runway or after?
Before I hit the brakes.
Okay, so we have no magic hat items today. And
the magic hat items went out the window.
They went out the window.
At a very high rate of speed.
Did the officer appreciate those magic hat items, or is he going to use them for family use, or are they being, put into the booking station? Okay, let's talk about what type of site work might be involved prior to the start of your addition, Earl. That's where we're at. Mr. Vanderbeek was going to come in, but I will take his spot because I'm familiar with the type of work Mr. Vanderbeek does.
How long you know him already?
I know Tommy for over 20 years. He's been in the business. And I'm going to throw his phone number out there for you guys that are interested in doing a home improvement project and need to have an engineer or surveyor on that project. It's 845-357-7450. He's engineering, surveying, land planning, stormwater management, drainage, and all types of the things that you would need to consider if you're doing a new residential project or an addition to your home. So you would call Tom as one of the professionals, as well as myself, the architect, to come in, and as a team, they would create all the documentation that you would need to go to your local building department. And we skipped this step as we were going through the process, so we'd like to, step back.
Is it an important step, Lee?
This is an important step, especially up in the Orange County area where there are sewer districts, but a lot of houses are on septics and wells, and the septic and well situation is such that there needs to be a design created for it and a location, and that needs to be done by a professional engineer or a land surveyor. This now entails designing a system for, let's say it's a new construction for the new house, or expanding an existing system that might be in place on an existing residential house. So both of these items need to be addressed when you're starting a construction project, as well as Tommy's very good at stormwater management. Runoff from your gutters and leaders, there needs to be a pit created or a dry well. That needs to be located on your premises.
Is that what they cook on?
Well, yeah, depending on what you could actually open up a pit, have a pig roast before you filled it with stone. It could serve two purposes, and then you could use it as a dry well in a retention area, an underground retention area.
Dry well. Is that an area where you accumulate water?
That water runoff from any surface or roof surfaces.
So it's a seepage area, basically.
Well, seepage is more with the septic. Okay, so we like to call them dry wells because it is just runoff and rainwater that's going in there.
What do you put in the pit?
The pit, well, there's a few different ways you can do it. You can construct one out of concrete block. You can just open up an area and fill it with gravel.
That works. I see that
Or
a
you
lot.
can buy a precast unit. There's 500
really?
gallon. There's precast units that actually leach out the water. The water can go in and they can get filled with stone.
Is
as
leaching
well.
primarily done around Halloween or what?
Yes, it is. Bloodletting. That's what more like it. So, as you folks know, it is Columbus Day, and this is our special Columbus Day anniversary show.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, Columbus.
There you
And
go.
Americus Vespucci. I don't know where you are in this one, but next week is Boss's Week, and we'll have somebody in to represent Americus on this fine day. Earl, so why don't you tell us a little bit about site, issues that you might have come across out in the field in regards to, when you're opening up a foundation and all of a sudden you run into an abandoned oil tank or a septic system that needs to be expanded. You don't go out and do that on your own. You are looking for an engineering drawing or some sort of diagram or a map to follow on what to do to construct that. We don't improvise that in the field. Is that correct?
That's correct. Things of that nature, you just don't make decisions in the field on your own. These decisions need to be made by the engineer, and hopefully ahead of time. We need to know where the house is going, where the addition's going, where the septic system's going, the leach field. All these things are very important that they're laid out ahead of time and that we all know where it's going before you just start digging and say, well, oh, look what we just found.
Exactly. And that occurs on probably 50 to 60%. 1 out of 2 projects, there are things that are in the ground that were not designated on an old survey or an old map. And then you need to have, again, when you're doing this type of work, a lot of the municipalities are calling for a foundation location plan. So what that is again, the engineer who does your initial surveying work will designate all of the underground utilities, seepage pits, like Mike says, the septic areas, and then dry wells. If they don't know where they are, they do an investigation, and they have locating devices that they can run through pipes and so forth that will
The engineer
locate.
does the investigation?
The engineer can do the
When
investigation
do you
as
call
well.
the municipalities up? Because I always see call first before you dig.
Okay, well, that's always important. Before any digging is done, Earl knows that. Earl, why don't you throw that out there, because that's your favorite.
Call before you dig.
That's right.
I always see that sign up when we go down to the municipalities, man.
You do see a lot of times, though, that some things are not on the survey because the architect will take an old survey and just plot out the addition, to the side or to the rear or to the front of the house, and without too much investigation into the plot itself. And that is left up to either the contractor when he's determining his price. He does a little digging and finds out, or you hire a surveyor, a land surveyor, to come out and locate these items so that when you're digging, you're not going to dig into your well line or your wellhead
No surprises.
or your septic line, right, or you're putting your addition over an existing septic field that was abandoned when they hooked into the sewers. So the Greater Hudson Valley Engineering and Land Surveying Company can come out and help you locate these items prior to the start of an addition so that when the architect comes out, he's already aware of anything that's in the way of the construction, or you could rethink the location of your addition so that it doesn't cost you extra money when you start your project. Because now you have to either move a septic field or re-drill a well or move a wellhead or rethink now after the design has been completed, how to go about this building project because you don't really want to build
So
over
you
your
want
well.
the engineer in the early phases of this
He should
staging?
be at the beginning of the process as well. After you've come up with your concepts, you bring in the architect and the engineer together to work on this project.
What kind of things other than the septic do you think they'll find? Stumps and rocks and what?
Well, I mean, that was when you dig. You'll find, depending on how old the subdivision or type of house that you have when it was built, yeah, you could find old debris that were legal to bury in the 60s and 70s and then, were outlawed because they created sinkholes in the 80s and 90s as people learned about these items. So you could find all kinds of things. Another foundation could be buried on your property. An older house was abandoned or something was happening depending on which neighborhoods. When we were building in Sloatsburg, we had that.
I know. Strange things always do show up.
So it's always nice to have a gentleman out there in the field that is willing to go and find all your boundaries and your property, make sure your setbacks are okay, and then getting back to this foundation location plan, when you're putting together your addition, you see that you need to find out where this is going in relationship to your building. the surveyor comes out and he puts offset stakes in the ground, 10-foot offsets, which shows the excavator where to start digging the foundation. Those pins are exactly where the foundation has to go with a 10-foot offset, which means it's 10 feet away from the actual points of the foundation.
You know what I hear a lot about that? When people are putting fences up.
Yes.
And all of a sudden they think they had all that property, and it was nice and square in the back. And all of a sudden, they realized that they had a survey or saw a survey by their neighbor, and sure enough, they're planning on building a fence on the neighbor's property.
This again, so very important. Other things that Tom Vanderbeek does for the Greater Hudson Valley Engineering Surveying Company here is, yes, when you're refinancing your house or you're locating a fence on a property or a deck that's being built onto a building, you need somebody to come out and put that onto your survey or your plot plan, which is the map of your piece of land that shows all of the built items and flat work, concrete work, patios, and so forth that are on your property. And a lot of people buy properties without these, and a lot of people, put fences up, like you said, Mike, and do things that they later have to remove because
Relocate.
their neighbor locates it. Yeah, the neighbor goes and gets a survey and finds that you're a foot
on
or
my
two.
property.
Right. So now you've spent this money, and you're going to have to spend it again. So it's always wise to make a call to Mr. Vanderbeek, again, 357-7450, and talk to him in regards to any type of construction you're doing on your premises. If you want to put up a detached garage, if you're looking to just build an ornamental well with a roof on top of it, any sort of structure, a little outbuilding for your pool, let's say.
A deck.
These items need to be, be put on a survey.
Sure.
And people don't update them, so it's very important to talk to somebody. Rich, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back in a moment to discuss a little bit more about the Greater Hudson Valley Engineering and Land Surveying Company. Tom Vanderbeek, our sponsor, 357-7460.
This is Mike, co-host of the ABCs of Home Improvement. Whether you are a do-it-yourselfer or using a professional to redo or build your new kitchen, call me at 914-525-8100 for a professional consultation and design for all your cabinet needs and more. That's 914-525-8100, where your dream kitchen comes to life.
Hello, this is Laborio Durario, your friendly neighborhood architect, owner of ArcaFuture, and host of the ABCs of Home Improvement. If you are planning to renovate your home or build new, ArcaFuture can provide the state-of-the-art design process to create an exceptional final product, all with your budget in mind. ArcaFuture's key to success over the last 20 years is its clients' direct contact with Laborio, the architect. Call our offices in Tuxedo Park, New York at 845-351-2600 or in Upper Saddle River, New Jersey at 201-785-1616 to discuss all your home improvement design project needs. Remember, our heart is where your home is.
WTBQ, Orange County listens to Sue and Sandy.
It is playing into a whole global society, and it's global socialism, ladies and gentlemen. Don't mistake it. And I'll tell you why.
Monday mornings at 9, WTBQ.
Hi, everybody. I'm Margie.
I'm Sharon. We'd love you to join us on Wednesday afternoons at 12:30
For the path to fabulous and inspired living
Learn ways to live one juicy, joyful moment at a time.
on AM 1110 WTBQ.
Welcome back to the ABCs of Home Improvement. Call our experts at 845-651-1110. That's 845-651-1110 with any building or renovation questions you may have.
Afternoon, we're back with the ABCs of Home Improvement. Today's sponsor, the Greater Hudson Valley Engineering. Tom is not with us, but we're talking about him anyway. Lee will continue, I guess, at this point. We're going to go back on surveying this subject.
Okay, great. Let's talk a little bit again about Tom's company and some of the things that he's done, just to familiarize the listeners out there with his company. Tom is a member, of a two-man team that's part of a project for the relocation of the Fulton Fish Market in downtown to the Hudson Point in the Bronx. They did the site development and remediation on the 10-acre site, and so he's very busy with that, as well as stuff up in the area here, Mike. He's a civil engineer and environmental engineer for the Hamlets, a 600-unit project in Goshen for Centrex Homes. He's also the site engineer for Admiral's Cove, which is in West Haverstraw. So Tommy's busy. He's got a lot of things going on. Another one, he's working on an approval on Woodbury Junction, a 450-unit complex of single-family homes in the town of Woodbury. So he's busy upstate here, and he'd love to hear from you guys. So take your pencil, put down your cup of coffee, write down Tommy's number. If you hear of anybody that's looking to do some sort of addition on their house or a new residence or build, and you need a surveyor for that, Tom's the man, 357-7460.
You won't be the first one that calls him either.
Right, and it takes Tom a little time to get back to you because he is busy, but he has a good staff, and they'll definitely program you in and get him up to take a look at the job. So give his company a call. Very good. I've worked with him for many years and very happy with the services.
He's a real nice guy also.
Let's get back to the surveying and the property. So again, we were talking about locations and so forth and foundation location. So we're getting back to that. When you put the foundation, which we talked about with John Sebastian a few weeks back, in the ground, the building inspector comes out and he checks that the foundation is done properly, and then he's going to request from you, before you can start framing off of that or putting your deck on, a foundation location plan from a surveyor certified to the building department that that foundation that the architect has drawn on his plans is the correct size and that that foundation has been put in the correct location.
And it's strong enough to hold the property.
Well, they make sure that obviously it meets all the code requirements for compression. And then we get into the fact that some of these foundations may be off an inch or two. Now here's where the mason is, who is responsible for that? Okay, and we've had this happen, which means if you are very close and you're right on a lot line and then you're over by an inch, the building department has the right to stop your job. When they stop your job, you're in big trouble. You have to go for either a variance. Oh, we have a phone call. Excellent. Okay.
Hello, caller. This is Mike. Can I help you?
Hi, this is Jennifer from Chester. I had a question for Earl. I've been listening to your show for the past few weeks, and you guys are doing a really great job.
Thank you very much.
Excellent.
I've recently purchased a house, and it's in need of some updating, and we were thinking about renovating our kitchen and bath, and then possibly putting on a small addition in the back. And a few weeks ago, you guys were talking about getting 3 bids, and I had missed some of the information. I was wondering if you can go over that again for me.
Oh, Earl, there you go.
Sure, that was a good one. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Earl.
Okay. We'll give you the condensed version. Homeowners like yourself, Chester, what a beautiful area. Lovely little town, some beautiful old homes.
Fantastic stuff there.
And
historic.
A lot of people are purchasing these homes, and just like yourself, we had a caller a few weeks ago call in and say that they were putting an addition on the back of their home, and also
that's right,
thinking about doing over the kitchen and the master bathroom at the same time while they have all this work going on in their home.
Right,
Let's get it all done. Right. So what I was trying to say, it is my opinion and my experience that people generally get 3 bids, and you usually end up with a low bidder, a medium bidder, and a high bidder, 3 different prices. And what we were cautioning people, because a lot of times people like yourself just jump at the low bid.
There was a good quote you had, Earl, that week. That was excellent.
Yeah, I've got them again, and I'm going to...
You got to reiterate those with the people.
I'll share them with Jennifer. But the caution, again, is jumping at that low bid, and what we're trying to say is be very careful. At American Design and Build, we pride ourselves on not being a low bidder, and we pride ourselves on coming in second place a lot, or the second place bid, the medium bid, but we also get a tremendous amount of jobs at the high bid price, and that has to just do with
quality
reputation,
and service,
your
and
reputation, right,
and what's
recommendations,
included also
referrals,
in the project.
right. And we're all trying to, the homeowner needs to put together a bid package that all the bidders are bidding apples to apples, the same items. And it gets very complicated, and we'll go into this in the future, Lee and Mike, about budgets. For instance, how much you're giving. If they're doing the kitchen, you have X amount of budget for appliances. They may want to upgrade those appliances, and that'll be additional charge.
That's right.
But
Allocations for each component of the construction, Earl.
different
Correct.
floors, right? Flooring is another budget item because one person may choose oak hardwood, another person may choose the pergo, another tile, whatever.
Jennifer, what type of budget do you have up there in Chester?
Oh, that's a good question, Lee. Like I said, we're just trying to put this all together here. We haven't figured out numbers yet. We're just
Don't forget to call up American Design and Build as one of the components, and that brings to you the architect and the builder together that can sit down with you at the beginnings parts of your project. And then, of course, we were talking about Mr. Vanderbeek, because you'll probably need some sort of survey if you're doing anything outside the envelope of your house, and
Right,
patios and so forth. So,
and so I'll paint the same scenario. Let's just go over this last scenario real quick. Let's say this project that you're you're bumping out the kitchen and two-story bump out. The kitchen on the first floor, and above the second floor is, let's say, the master bedroom, and you're going to put a nice master bathroom in and a nice master bedroom walk-in closet. And let's say this project you put out to bid, and it comes in, your low bidder, again, $80,000, your medium bidder, $95,000, and your high bidder comes in at $100,000. Now, we're cautioning you, a lot of people jump at the $80,000 bid. And we have to caution this because we get a lot of calls to come finish those jobs.
yeah, and it costs more. And it actually will cost you more in the long run when we have to come in and finish the job, because half the times the job isn't done correctly from the start. So not only is it incomplete, but you have to go back a step or two to create a nice base to where we can finish it off the proper way.
And that will that'll lead into my first quote, and that is, the bitterness of poor quality remains long after the sweetness of low price is forgotten.
I enjoy that, Earl. That is the best.
I love that one. I lived by that one.
That's right.
Okay, people jump at the low bid, and the job either gets done.
Mike is smiling. That is the reason for your success, Earl, is that I believe that is the best. If you work by that motto, everybody's happy. That's a win-win for everybody.
Exactly. And then my second one, okay, and I love this one. I have to quote John Ruskin one more time. We did it a few weeks ago, but I'm going to do it again because, again, I live by this one.
It's a good one.
The common law of business balance prohibits paying a little and getting a lot. It can't be done. If you deal with the lowest bidder, it is well to add something for the risk you run. And if you do that, you'll have enough to pay for something better. John Ruskin, everybody. I love that.
I have to applaud that again, Earl.
Again.
I have to do it.
So
it's phenomenal. If people will just listen to those two things every other week from the American Design and Build and from the ABCs of Home Improvement, whether American Design and Build is on the job or not, that will satisfy 90% of the people that will have problems in their construction. If they just listen to what Earl says and take it to heart before they pick a contractor and understand what those two items mean, those
what
two
low
quotes,
bid actually means.
You shouldn't be in any trouble because you will know then. You'll be able to qualify these people. And again, American Design and Build, Earl, that is the one that they should be calling.
So
what's the number again for American Design and Build, Earl?
283-6763. And Jennifer, give us a call. We'd love to come out and set up an appointment to meet with you.
Already. Take these quotes to heart, okay? They really mean something. They tell a lot. A few words tell a lot, and those words tell a lot.
A real story.
Yep.
Yeah. Before we get back to the topic of the day, what makes a low bidder? What makes the guy that comes in $20,000 cheaper think that he can do the same job?
Exactly.
It can't be done.
You know the sad part of it, really, and I haven't said much until this point about that. The guy comes in with a low bid, and you jump at it because you really said, well, honey, we can do it for $80,000. But somewhere along the line, the job's going to stop.
Yeah, and they're going to want more money.
It's exactly right. And because he's out of money, you're going to pay the piper twice. Because he's going to walk off the job or stop the job, and you're going to be in disarray and going to go, what do I do? What do I do? Why didn't I listen to the guys on the radio? You know?
That's right. And again, we're working on a project right now in Sloatsburg where we're picking up the pieces off a job where a contractor just abandoned the job and took a few $100,000. And now we're having to go piecemeal because the lady who put up the money didn't realize she gave way too much up front. based on her own judgment, she thought that that was good, and she was happy with the contractor at the beginning of the job. And it comes down to finishing the job. $200,000 is gone, and there's still $100,000 worth of stuff that needs to be done. And where does this lady now come up with this money when the contractor told her the whole job was going to be $225,000? She gave him 90% of the money, and everything went smoothly up to a point. And when that money stops coming, and he abandoned the job, now who knows what kind of money he took away from that job that he didn't put on the job to get the job done. But they're having a real difficult time trying to collect from him at this
Those
point.
contractors make it bad for the rest of us.
And that's right. And you always, again, we're going to throw this out there. Builders Association. How do you know, that the contractor is a reasonable contractor with the same sort
Fairly
of...
reputable, too.
Yeah, reputable. You have to call in and check some qualifications.
Phone book is the worst place to go because that's an unknown factor. I mean, even though everyone tries to get there, the real good ones probably won't even be in the phone book. If they are, they're just listed. But
Exactly.
associations with some reputation, like Building Association in Hudson Valley is what I'm thinking about
That's
right
it.
now.
Also check the Better Business and make sure, certain people are not on the list. The Consumer Affairs. You don't have to be a member of the association to be a good builder, but a majority of the good builders organize themselves together in the Builders Association because they have the same beliefs in how things should be done and how, the certain ethics of the industry. So being a member of that organization sort of guarantees that you're getting somebody of quality and the same caliber that has some integrity and is a reasonable builder. If you call out of the Yellow Pagers or the Penny Saver, it's sort of like a 50-50 shot that you're going to get somebody that really is a qualified builder.
You never know.
Earl, you have something?
Well, our local Builders Association of the Hudson Valley, that association is affiliated and a member with New York State Builders Association, who is affiliated and a member with National Association of the Home Builders.
Exactly.
Okay, so this brings, like you said, makes it all reputable. If you have a builder who is a member and an active member in these associations, they're very well known. They're usually quality people.
That's right.
That are there to better themselves and their industry.
Correct.
And they're affiliated with people in all walks of this building.
Welcome back to the ABCs of Home Improvement. Call our experts at 845-651-1110. That's 845-651-1110 with any building or renovation questions you may have.
Okay, folks, we're back. I'd like to bring in, again, General Hudson Valley Engineering and Land Surveying, our co-sponsor, Tom Vanderbeek, engineer in Suffern, New York. Give him a call for any engineering and surveying you may need, 845-357-7450, and American Design and Build. Earl Slick here. Give him a call for your home improvement estimates. Again, his number is 845-283-6763. That's 845-283-6763. Going to go a little aside here and clipped a little something out for you folks. Again, we want to be able, since we don't have the magic hat today, to give anything away, we're going to give away a little information that can save you about $100 a month on your energy bill. All right, Earl? And there's a gentleman, he was a green builder from Rogers, Arkansas, okay, that won the 2006 Energy Value House Gold Award and the People's Choice Award by the National Association of Home Builders for figuring out a better way to energize his 5,400 square foot home. His average bill, okay, for consumption of electricity is $94 on that house, Earl.
Wow.
Okay, now, how does he accomplish this? Okay, and you guys who are out there listening, get your pencils and paper ready because this is a way through the winter and into the spring to save yourself some money that you may not be able to make up on the heating end because we didn't go into the insulation and how to weatherproof your house for the winter, which we might do on our next show. But this is about the lighting. Okay, and what they say is better use of light bulbs. This is the first thing. Okay, and what they're suggesting, okay, and what this green builder does out in Arkansas is he substitutes, okay, a regular incandescent bulb with a $6 compact fluorescent energy-saving 40-watt bulb. Okay, now that bulb lasts approximately 6 to 13 times longer than a regular incandescent bulb. So if you figure out the cost over the life of the bulb, you would have spent $46 on regular light bulbs versus the $6 you would spend on this bulb over the course of the lifetime. So first of all, there's a savings on that. Second of all, he finds by replacing a certain percentage, now this is based on a percentage, okay, the energy rating system that shows that if you replace these light bulbs, 50% of the light bulbs in your house, you will cut your consumption of electricity by about 26% on lighting. So if you...
We have a phone call.
Oh, another phone call. Okay, we'll get back to the lighting in a second. Go ahead, caller. Who's calling?
How you doing out there today, buddy?
Oh, Steve. How are you?
It's Steve, your traveling renovator.
How you doing, Steve? Where are you working
How you
today?
guys today?
Good. How you doing on Columbus Day, and where are you working?
It's no holiday for us. We're out here doing ceramic floor.
Oh, nice. Well, that's the right thing to be doing on Columbus Day, ceramic tile. It's part of the ethnicity, of the background, of the Colombians, so to speak. Where are you doing that job?
Italian today.
Where are you doing that, Steve? Where's that job at?
This is in Rockland County.
Oh, nice. Very good. So you've been in Rockland a few times this week.
Yeah, I'd like to get out of it, but yeah.
And the people are still smiling, Steve. That's what we like. Steve, why don't you throw out your name and your company number again for the folks out there in Radio Land?
Great. That's the renovation consultant at 845-831-7609.
Steve, it's great always to hear from you. What color tile are you putting down there? What type of a job? Because we talked about, in general terms, tile. I mean, is it a mud job? Is it a thin set? Why don't you give us a little background real quick on the job?
We're doing a floor with, we built it up with some wonderboard, and then we're going down with some thin set and a nice 13 by 13 ceramic tile over that.
Very nice, very nice. Did they think about radiant heat while they were doing this floor system, Steve?
No, this is a townhouse situation.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So you can't get underneath there. There's somebody below.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So it sounds like you're having fun, Steve. So maybe next week you'll be calling us from a different location, or you'll tell us about
or
the
a different
finish.
part of the house.
Yeah, different part of the house. That sounds good. Excellent. Well, it's always nice to hear from you, Steve. We always look forward to hearing from you. It's great. We thought you'd be at the Columbus Day Parade today.
I wanted to, but work first.
Way to go, Steve.
Will we see you tomorrow night, Steve?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Sure, why not?
Builders Association of Hudson Valley monthly meeting.
Casino night.
Yes, you will.
Okay.
That's right.
We look forward to seeing you.
Okay,
All right,
care.
Steve. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Always good to hear from Steve out there. Unbelievable. Okay, let's get back to just an aside.
Light bulbs.
The light bulbs. So we were getting into to how you could save money. So could you imagine if you're saving about 20% by switching out 50% of your bulbs, what kind of money could you save if you switched them all out? That's the real question. It doesn't get into it in this study that I have here, but it says you can save more than $60 a year just by replacing 5 high-use light fixtures with regular fluorescent Energy Star labeled ones. So just 5 in an entire house.
It's a start.
So it's a start. So if you want to, make a slow break-in and over the course of a few years switch out all your light bulbs, you could be saving a lot of money. The next thing that this gentleman does, Mr. Sitz out in Arkansas, is that he gets a home energy rating system, or the blower door test. And what that does is that they get a certified installer of these fans that they put in your front door. They seal your house, and then they turn this fan on, and then they walk around the building and they check for leaks, windows, other door openings, and so forth. And when they locate them, they give you some ideas and suggest solutions. The testing is between $300 and $500, and the utility companies, you may call them, and they may actually recommend somebody that can do that for you and give you a little break, because they are just as concerned, with getting that done as you are. So, and then also always think about, depending on how old your system is, the upgrading the air conditioning and furnace system.
Efficiency level.
Efficiency, because a lot of these were done 15, 20 years ago, and they're just dinosaurs. They're blowing gas out the sides. And
you got holes in the ductwork, everything else that goes
and that's another thing they say, that you should check all ductwork as well to make sure the joints are sealed with mastic.
That's a big deal.
Right, so that's a lot of little tidbits we just gave you out there that could save you, between $50 and $100 on your energy bills over the course of the next few months without changing too much. So just, again, give us a call out there, 651-1110, if you're interested in some more tidbits, and we can get to some of the topics that you want. But if not, we're going to get back to the the final part of the surveying here, which is, again, we're going to throw out Tommy's number and name, the Greater Hudson Valley Engineering and Land Surveying Company in Suffern at 845-357-7450, our co-sponsor of the show today. Let's talk a little bit about the storm water management. Now, that was another issue. So now, say you have a ranch house and you're going to be adding another 1,000 square feet to the side or to the rear of this building, and you already have a surface area, which is the roof area, that drains off, I don't know, maybe 3,000 or 4,000 square feet of water, and now you're going to add another 1,000.
Where's all that water go?
The question is, is your existing system capable of handling the excess water that's coming off the roof? And if you put it down into your underground system that exists, you could actually flood it and overwhelm it and create a sinkhole where the pit is. So, again, calling out an engineer, getting somebody to examine that, locating the pit or the area where the pit is, opening it up and seeing what's there.
Determine whether it's large enough.
That's correct. So, there's a lot of things. Now, a lot of times, an excavator can come in and do this for you. You don't need a land surveyor per se, but since you're going to go through all the trouble of locating it and digging it up, wouldn't it be nice to actually have it on a map so that the next time you go to do something or when you sell your property to the next person, they have the information they require to be able to move forward on an addition.
How good does it look to the building inspector that you did everything proper, though?
And that's the other thing, inspections and so forth. The building departments really frown upon people trying to do these things on their own, creating pits and areas that are hidden, that are not located anywhere, that nobody supervised the installation of. So
they might not understand the gravity factor.
Or a neighbor, how close you are to your neighbor. You're putting the tank in, and your tank starts overflowing and creating a water problem near his basement, and it's letting water now into his basement. So it's always, and you don't want to have any litigation. So it's always nice to have this thing approved through the building department so that you can say that we did it the right way.
That's a very important factor when you have neighbors.
Yeah, you have Joe homeowner, who on the weekend thinks he can dig a dry well and fill it with stone and divert all his water into there. But when it's all said and done, he's put it too close to his foundation.
Exactly.
And the whole area has saturated, and now he's got hydrostatic head water up against his foundation and water coming in, seeping into his basement.
Exactly.
And the whole purpose of doing this dry well was to remove the water and put it to a place where it's safe and will be dispersed. And however, he's made his own headache because he didn't consult with an engineer first, or an architect, or someone that knows a little bit better about what to do in these situations. And we have these weekend warriors all the time create more problems for themselves and more of an expense.
It sounds like one of your quotes, Earl.
That's right.
Well, we'll get to that another show.
That's right. That's right. Well, we got into the location of the foundation and so forth, and now we've located the pit areas and so forth around. So the next and the final step that the surveyor would do is that when the building and job is completed, and you've framed out your addition and you've gone through the final process and gotten your C of O, which is your certificate of occupancy on your construction, we're jumping all the way to the back end of the project now. The surveyor comes back in, and what he does is he gives you a final certified plan of everything that was completed there, and he certifies it to you and your wife, or the husband and wife, or the landowners, so that is now the instrument that is on record. It could be used at closings. It can be used for title transfers, and that is
loans also.
Loans, exactly, refinancing, and those are things that people don't think about until they're refinancing their house or something's going on. A deck was built. It's not on the survey. Title company does an investigation. The building department comes out.
Nothing's on record.
The deck is on the house, and nothing else is on record.
Sounds like a tie-up and a little delay.
So now you have to call up Tom to come out and
please, Tom, come out early.
And everybody's busy, and people didn't realize they needed it. So again, a little advice here from the ABCs of home improvement. If you're thinking about refinancing your house, or you're thinking about selling your house, there's something that's called a violation search. The title company cannot transfer title without a clearance from your municipality. The municipality has to come out, do a physical inspection, walk around the premises, go inside, outside. Other little items, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, these are items you should be concerned with on a refinance when they're doing this. They're going to check, and if there's decks that were built, or sometimes these decks were closed into screened rooms or three-season rooms, or even made into a living space without permits, it's going to kick up as a violation. And what that does is that now delays the entire process. And until you get the clearance from the building department, which has to go to the title company, you're sort of stuck. And what you need to do is contact an architect to certify any of the construction that was done, contact the surveyor to put on a survey the dimensions and the structure that was built, okay, and that needs to be filed for as if you were building it from new. You have to file for a building permit at the building department and get them to register that project before you can then either transfer title or close your loan.
So during the 20 years that you've been living in your home, you started off with you put a deck on the back of your home, and then you screened it in, and then you've decided to finish it into a living space, and now 10 years after that, you've decided to sell your home, and you can't.
Exactly, Earl.
You'd like to, but you can't.
Exactly.
You'd like to, but you can't because the new homeowners or prospective coming in do not have anything that is certified that this is a safe living square footage.
Yeah, that's correct.
Well, legal.
And legal, yeah.
That's right.
So you're not going to be able to borrow money against this property.
You can't borrow, you can't sell it. Nothing can happen until all of that
You can live
gets...
there still.
You can continue to live there.
Yeah.
You don't really have to do anything if you're not looking to sell or move the title around in any fashion. But if you are, again, we're giving you a little tip now. Call up, Arca Future, 845-351-2600. We can certify all these constructions if they're done properly. If they're not done properly, we tell you what needs to be done for compliance. You're going to need an electrical underwriter because architects and engineers cannot certify any of the electric. So you're going to have a third person involved that has to come out and certify any electric that was done on this project. And then you're going to need Mr. Vanderbeek's company to come out and on the survey, show the work that was completed and make sure it meets the required setbacks, floor area ratios, and so forth. To comply with the building permit. Then
One more thing, just
yes,
as
go
a
ahead,
quickie.
Mike.
If you've done this type of work and you're still living in the house, this is the time to actually bring in the proper people to get all this certified. So if there is some time delay, getting in front of the board, getting the electrician to come out to do the underwrite, getting the architect, getting the engineer on the job site, all this takes time. So if you've completed the job, you've lived there for a year or 2 or 3 with the new project, and you're done. You're not going to do anything else. It's really time to make sure that you're legal and you put it onto the plot plan. And all the steps taken, whatever it takes in time now, you're still there. This is the right time to do it.
That's
if you
right.
didn't do it before.
Well, that's why we're alerting the people now that if they're thinking about refinancing in the future, maybe in the spring, the process to get these things done could be 2 to 3 to 4 weeks, a month and a half.
Longer sometimes.
The architect and the engineer could probably get most of the stuff accomplished in a week or 2. Then it has to go to the building department. They have 30 days by law, so they can take their time if you're harassing them and calling them every day asking what's going on. And then you still have to wait for the electrical underwriter to give you a tag and a certification for your electrical work. So the entire process could take 60 days, and people get very upset because interest rates move up and down, and they're trying to close, and can't anybody move
And commitments
faster.
are only for so long at the bank.
You can only go so fast. So again, if you're thinking about refinancing, you've had work done to your house, you don't have a survey that shows the work, you don't have architectural plans that show the work, you're going to need all of that stuff, and so you put it together in a timely fashion, but think about it months in advance. That's what we're trying to tell people.
Like Mike says, this is something that you really should address now because life has a funny way of throwing us curveballs. And you may think we're going to live here the rest of our lives and so on and so forth, but you never know when unexpected, for instance, happens and
That's right. Something
all of a sudden,
pops up and
you need to either move,
Right.
you need to get out of town.
Right.
Sometimes you got to
right.
get out of Dodge
That's
quick,
right.
and
That's
you
right.
can't get out. You're
That's right.
wagging.
You can't do anything. You're at the mercy of the building department at
Now, I'm
that
going to
point.
give you an example that took place about 20 years ago. There was a job, the renovation took place in the backyard. That was a massive job. And all this went on with proper way of doing it, and there wasn't a question about that. But the certificates weren't there. And by the time all the work was done, the homeowner actually went to the town and asked to do the things properly. But because he jumped the gun and did so much without their assistance, let's call it, they delayed the CFO.
Correct. That's what happened.
And that was more than just a couple of months delay because of the so-called punishment factor, okay?
Right.
But if you're living there for 15, 20 years and you've done this completion, let's say the first 5 years, years you're living in the house, and now you want to complete it, that's the perfect time, I'm telling you.
Yeah, you should do it when you don't need to do it.
That's it.
This should be taken care of when you can relax, and you don't have to worry about pressure and time and interest rates floating up and down and all the rest of the stuff, kids starting college. And now's the time to get your house in order. The ABCs of Home Improvement recommends that you do that now. If any of you out there listening think you don't need to do that and you're going to wait, you'll see if we're right or not. And we've only been doing this, 20 years respectively each. And I've done 2 of these in the last week and a half already. A gentleman in Montebello trying to sell his house, finished his basement, did not have any plans for it, has a buyer on the hook, and he can't sell his house. And now it's in front of the village board because of the square footage. There's a floor area ratio. He wasn't allowed to have that much square footage. The house is finished. He's not going to take it apart, so now he has to go and get a variance. So that's 90 days.
Punishment.
Now the buyer might just decide, you know what, I'm not waiting 90 days. I'm going to go find another house because I want to be in before the end of the year. So this gentleman will not be able to close, most likely. And we've done all of our work. The engineer's done his work. Now it's at the municipal level, and he's stuck there until he gets his approvals. He'll get them, but they're going to take their time about it because
how many times have you driven around and seen a building wondering, why isn't that finished?
Right, exactly.
How come that so-called coffee shop I've seen staying, it looks like it's almost done, but they won't let them put the parking area in? That's all part of this process we're talking about.
That's right. So at American Design and Build, we only offer you the best information for the best projects, and we're trying to tell you to be aware of these things that you're not aware of. These are things that people do not know, and they go just to the bank and they say, you know what, I want to take out $25,000 and go do a little addition. I want to enclose my deck out in the back there, and they find out that the deck was built illegally without a permit, and they can't even go get $25,000 on a house that may not even have a mortgage on it because there's no CO on the deck. And until they get the CO...
And the answer that it was there when I bought it is not a good answer.
Right. It doesn't matter. If somehow it was able to transfer because you bought way back when they don't do these violation searches, now it's your problem. It's your headache.
As soon as you go for a new one, you then have to become updated with all the new laws.
That's correct.